Good morning, everyone. Well, I just woke up, so don't mind me. I woke up those. Okay, that's a stupid thing to say. I just woke up, don't mind me. I'm just making a video. Don't mind me. That's the thinking patterns that we get in the morning. And I love making videos in the morning because I'm so, not awake yet. And I've made, in past years I made videos. I made a couple in the morning, like when I first started my channel, and I realized, because I would be like, why am I making a video? I'm totally haggard. I can't even say anything yet. But I was inspired, just like I was this morning. I got up this morning, I made my coffee, and for some reason I'm always thinking about strange things. I had some weird dreams last night. I'm getting ready to go to the beach this weekend for my 40th birthday and my son's 21st birthday party. So we got a beach house and stuff, and whenever I'm going to do something like that, there's an event coming or something, I always have strange dreams, and usually related to the people that are going, or whatnot. But it always gets me thinking. I wake up with new perspectives on things, about life, about friendship and love, and I try to carry that into the waking day. For example, I woke up this morning and I was thinking about, I can't remember what I saw. I saw something on the computer, something about sex, and I was thinking about how sex is, we're told that we have to, I was thinking about Viagra, people that take Viagra, and how they use it because society tells us that, hey, you're supposed to have a boner at 50 years old, and you're supposed to keep that damn boner. It's preposterous. It's really ridiculous because we know that. I think the problem we have is that we're being told that it's not normal, right, for a guy to, have a problem with erections when he's in his 50s. I mean, the fact is, as a guy gets older, his sex drive goes down, and this is not something that we have to cure or mend. And see, this is what I realized, what I was thinking this morning, because I've never really thought that through. Here's guys that are 40 and 50 who maybe aren't as horny as they used to be, and they want to be, and it's like, so they take a pill for it or whatever, or they're just trying to take supplements or whatnot, get themselves back to the way they used to be. But nature doesn't care. Nature doesn't give a shit about that. Nature doesn't want men to be horny until they're 60. It's what happens is after a guy, say, goes through his 30s, generally it starts to decline from there, your sex drive, because you have already, supposedly through nature's mind, you've already put out your seed and you've done your thing, and now you're living your, the rest of your life. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying people who are over 40 or 50 shouldn't have kids. I do believe that men over 50 shouldn't have kids, but that's just my opinion. Honestly, over 40 is even pushing it for a lot of people, but that's another norm that we're forced with to work with. It's normal now for old men to get women pregnant and have kids, and it's just not right. I know that, you see, I'm kind of a traditionalist in that sense, that I don't believe that a child should grow up, if there's a choice, without parents who are still young enough to understand and still in that enthusiastic, parenting stage where they're learning too. Now, on one hand, you might say, well, a parent who's still making money and getting themselves established wouldn't be as responsible as, let's say, a parent who's already had a career and retired. But the further the generation gap, the harder it is to relate to your kids. But not just that, the chromosomal damage to the body. This is why women who have children over in their 40s and up start to have more and more chances for problems and hardships with the kid, and all kinds of strange diseases the kid can get, and problems the mom can have. So, I guess what I'm saying here is that there's this whole big image about how society's supposed to work. We're trying to hang on to this youthful sexual lust as if it's something that's not normal to lose. And I never really thought about it until I was thinking the other day. I was thinking, when I was younger, you see some hot chick on the street, and you're walking down, and you're like, ooh, man, Well, from a guy's perspective, let's put it this way: make sure you're wearing underwear or at least a belt. You know, something to hide your wood. I mean, that's nothing to be shy about. Every guy in the history of people has had morning wood or, you know, traveling wood or whatever. But as you get older, that goes away. And you start to think, oh, why? Why is that going away? You know, how come when I see a girl, don't I feel that same, you know, horniness? Just be thankful you don't. Because that's just the most annoying thing, is to feel that lust towards, you know, anybody that you see that you feel that way about. I have friends, I guess times have changed a bit as we get older, but I have friends who were very, let's just say they're horn dogs. They're always looking to get laid, always looking for a girl. Every single woman they see walking down the street, they're just, and I just kind of like roll my eyes, because even as a kid I wasn't that sexual of a person. I mean, I wasn't really I wasn't the kind of person who wanted to have sex every day and was always looking to meet women. I was out doing my own thing. And it's funny because my mom said that at one point she even thought I was gay, because I didn't have any girlfriends from the time I was like 15 till I was like 18 or 19. It's just a few years, but it's that few years in high school, you know, that seniors in high school and stuff. But it's just because women, and I just had too many different desires in life. I wanted to go out and do things and have fun with my friends, and I didn't want to be held down. And that's how I looked at it. And that's another thing that we get fooled into, besides the sex aspect of it. You think that a relationship just has to suffer. Yeah, it takes work. Of course it takes work. But a couple doesn't have to fight and mend and fight and mend. My wife and I mean, we haven't been married the whole time, but we've been together for almost 17 years. We met in 98 when we were 22. And we've been in maybe a handful of arguments in our life. You know, it's we'll still, you know, maybe every once in a while get to the oh whatever stage, but we never get to the yelling stage or the cursing stage or harshing on each other. Let's put it this way: when we're mad at each other, our scolding is using each other's names. Whatever, Josh. You know, that's the kind of thing that we. You know, that's how you know it's an impact. But if you can't impact your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, if you can't impact them with just merely words, then you have a serious problem on your hands. It means that you haven't developed either a relationship that's strong enough to understand each other, or that you're constantly bombarding the other person with so much bullshit that they don't listen to you anymore. If I came to my wife and I said, look, I'm really serious, this is really bothering me, and I told her about something, she would totally listen and understand and do everything she could to help me with that. And I feel the same way about her if she comes to me with anything. But the point is that as relationships get older, we're told in our society, just like, I guess it goes along with the sex thing maybe. I mean, that would be a perfect correlation. They say that, you know, well, relationships are work, and well, we have to suffer, and that couples argue more as they get older. But it's not true. It's just not true at all. If you tie that in with the sex thing, where they're telling you you're supposed to always be horny and you're supposed to always be having sex, a person might stop and say, wait a minute, I'm married, and I'm, you know, I could be out there doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a man and having sex. You know, it's just, if a person is dumb enough, shallow enough to take that society's image and say they're, you know, they're 45, 50 years old, they've been married happily for 20 years, and they decide, well, I'm just going to leave because I want to have a little mistress that I can go run around with, you know, for a while. A man who cheats, or a man who leaves and hides so he can be with another woman when he's still married, or, you know, has a girlfriend, is a disgusting, disgusting person. It's a very bad trait. I wouldn't say that you're a disgusting person overall, but it's a disgusting trait. It's one that I just shake my head at, because I don't believe in cheaters. You know, my oldest son's girlfriend recently left him and basically just ran him into the dirt, and she did just that. She was out dating another guy for a while and hiding it, and he found out. And I think about this. She did the same thing to her previous boyfriend with him. You know, when I was 15 and I got together with this girl, that she ditched her boyfriend to be with me, and then 6 months later she ditched me to be with another guy. I mean, I expected that. I should have expected that, because while people do change, their attitudes towards treating others doesn't seem to change very much, towards what they think that is okay to do. So you can tie that together, the whole sexual thing, the whole relationship thing, and just realize as you get older, you are going to be less horny. Deal with it. And you're going to have problems in your relationship, but it should be getting stronger. So if it's not, that means that you're really not putting in the full effort, in my opinion. Because it does take two to tango, as they say. But it also takes two to make a relationship, period. Whether it be you in a relationship with your guitar, or, I mean, that's not even really a relation. A relationship has to be two people, because it's a combination. You're both relating. And if you feel like you're at odds with your spouse, loved ones, you're always fighting with them, there may be issues to work out. But if you're fighting constantly with someone that you live with, then there's a serious problem that needs to be dealt with, and it might just be that you're not good together. But don't hang on to that out of the other society's image, which is, besides telling us that we have to have sex and telling us that we're bound to argue with our spouses, the one that tells us that we have to, I lost my train of thought. Oh well, I'll just be honest, I forgot. At a point there was there's a lot to be learned by the elders who have put together and put forth their time to put books and information together of things that they've discovered that have helped them to understand. And while it does take two to tango, it also, you can have a relationship that's so strong that both people boost each other up, and that's what it's really all about. If you see your spouse getting beaten or verbally abused, you're going to stand up for them, and they're going to do the same for you. If they don't, then it's obviously a very poor relationship. But you want somebody that you can be arguing with. Put it this way: you want somebody that you can be arguing with, and then the minute somebody from the outside steps in and decides to talk shit about, say you're talking with your friend about, you're all mad at your wife, and then they say something harsh about her, you're like, hey, no, it's my wife. That's only I can say shit like that. That means that you still love, but you're talking because you understand. If you're teaming up against someone you love with someone else, then there's a serious problem, and it needs to be worked out. So those are just some of my thoughts. I think society's programming has gone really deep, and it's very difficult to break away. Something as simple as, is sex. It just really isn't thought through. We see it all around us, and we're constantly bombarded with it, and we just don't really have time to think about whether it matters if we're horny at 40 or 50, or whether it matters if we're in a relationship happily married if we're not really happily married because we're arguing all the time. So I like to see relationships happy around me and blooming and prosperous, because I know people who are in a bad marriage, I know people who are in a good marriage, and there's a huge difference in the way that people behave and treat one another in those situations. So now that I'm awake, I got my thinking cap on for the day. I'm going to head back in and finish my coffee and start my day. I wish you all well, and I guess my message that I'm trying to convey here is to stop and think each day. Even if you do it once each morning when you wake up, which is my time to think, just think about one thing while you're taking a shower or while you're making your coffee or whatever you're doing. Think about one thing that you do each day, or that you think about each day, and ask yourself what it really means, what that subject really means. Something about being human is best, Like, I brush my teeth every day. Okay, start with brushing your teeth. I mean, should I brush more? Or am I overly obsessive about brushing? Things like that. And these are just examples. But the things that we do each day, the ways that we treat each other each day, how you react to your spouse or loved ones in the morning. Do you just pass them by in the hallway and go, morning. Most people do when they're older. You know, you both wake up and you're tired and you're like, morning. Nobody's all happy and exuberant in the morning. But let's say you just met a new loved one in your life, or let's say you just got together, a guy and a girl, and it's their first mornings, and they're like, oh, good morning, good morning. You know, it just doesn't last, because morning is morning. It's time to wake up. I guess my thing is to face reality for what it is, and to realize people are just people, and we don't always get along with people, but we don't always have to fight with people either. If we're in a constantly abusive relationship where we feel like we're suffering, I guess my rule of thumb has always been this: if you're avoiding going home because you don't want to deal with your spouse, then it's time to move on. Time to move on. No children should be under a household like that if that's the excuse that a person's using. That, oh, well, we have kids, but the relationship isn't strong, it's not doing anything for the kids. So those are my thoughts on this stuff. It's a sensitive subject for a lot of people. A lot of guys are really sucked into this whole idea that they have to be sexually active until they're 120 years old. But, you know, reality is that you don't have to use your dick to think for you anymore. That's the whole idea. That's what growing up is.